Do you know what's even harder than trying to figure out how much water you need on your watercolor brush? You know what's even harder? Teaching people how much water they need to put on their watercolor brush. I've been writing a book series lately and spilling all my secrets about all the little details of things and how I use my watercolors. And in this video, I really want to get like super granular about how much water exactly do you need to put on your brush to make watercoloring super freaking easy. All right. And if you're new to my world, my name is Campbell and I live for making art as easy as possible, because if it's easy, we're going to have more fun. And if we have more fun, we're going to do art more. And when you do art more, you know what happens? You get really freaking good. Let's dive in. All right. So let's use the perfect water. I have a water glass here. I put glass beads in mine. It helps shake loose my paint a lot faster. Everything I do, I record for a lesson, so I want to be faster in that regard. I also have a whole roll of paper towels. I have my paints, which are unactivated. I don't pre-wet them in any way. And then I have my swatches here so that I can see exactly which paint colors I am diving into. And off here, I have my books, and I will show you that afterwards because I have the instructions for exactly what I'm saying in my whimsical watercolor and how to draw series of books. So what you're going to do is you are going to wet your brush in the water. You're going to drag it along the side of the jar. You are going to doink it once on your paper towels. Okay. So zoop, and then press. Okay. You're going to dive into the color that you want, and you are going to apply the paint. Okay, it's as simple as that. Now, if that water is too juicy or your paintbrush is too runny, this is a second option for you. Okay, that was option one. This is option two. So what do? We clean our brush, we wipe it on our way out of the water, we doink it on our paper towel, we go get the paint. And if this is really runny, or you want a more concentrated color, you can do another doink on your paper towel before applying it. Okay, it's almost exactly the same. Sometimes, if you forget to do for the first little dab here, the little doink, then you would want to do, you can make sure to do it again if it's too juicy. Okay, so this is your baseline. And this is when you're in my world doing all of these little critters and wonderful women. So I have a couple of books out, and this is why I'm doing this kind of deep dive series, because I want to show you a lot of people are collecting up these books. Here's one, two, Wonky Woofers. This is a proof copy. I just got it yesterday. This is due out any minute. But a lot of people are following along, and I want you to all have success when you're painting. So I want to make sure you have the exact directions. So this is what I am spelling this out in this portion, but I want to have this on video so you can see for real. Like, this is not made up. This is really what I do. Okay, so let's follow along now from the book. So choose your paint set, and I'm going to do a cow in a second for book 4. So this is Decadent Pies by Prima. Okay. Oh, here we go. Wet your brush in the clean water. That's step 2. Dab it on your paper towels once. Okay, super explicit. Dab. Dip the brush into your paint color. Ooh, I'm going to do green this time. Okay. Optional dab if that's too wet. Is it too wet? Ooh, you know, if it's too watery, maybe I want a more concentrated color. I'll start over. Do you see what I did? Took it out, dabbed it, went to the paint. Too juicy, do a quick dab again, and then make my line. Okay, so when you're at home, which you are if you're watching this probably, you need to practice that. Clean, wipe, dab, grab the paint. That very same system. Direct, you know, optional dab, go. And you'll learn exactly how much then that feels over and over and over again. And you can understand also what that kind of saturation looks like. And I just want to make this video to show you that that is the, like, that for the 90% of all the projects in all the book series, that little exact process is exactly how you're going to make these look. Now, if you want these to be lighter colors, okay, I also have a little diagram in this one so you can actually see, right? If you want to have a lighter color, you're going to add a lot of water. And if you want a stronger color, you use less water. And it's as simple as that. Or you can do 2 coats. So you have 2 choices. So there are 2 ways to get stronger color. Okay, so let's practice doing a lighter color and also a darker color. Okay, so I'm going to do this. So if we want to do more concentrated, we want less water. So what does that mean? So we're going to do our first doink. Then I'm going to go grab my green. Okay, then I'm going to do another doink, and then I'm going to go add more green. And why is that? Because now I have less water in my brush, and I went back again. So now this color should be a lot stronger, and it is. Okay, so if you want a darker color, you're going to do a double dip in your paint to get twice as much color on your brush than you had before. All right, if we want to have a lighter color, turn this around this way, get rid of my swatches. Okay, we want a lighter color. We are going to have, this time, I am not going to doink on my paper towel. I'm going to take my wet brush, I'm going to wring the excess off on the side, not do the doink. Go into my paint, not doink it off, and then you can see it's a lot juicier and you can get a lot of color. Okay, so this is no dabs. This is a normal dab, and this is twice as much paint. So you have light, medium, and dark. So that recipe, I will show you again, and it looks different in the different books. Just to show you, come on page, where is it? Here we go, there's the very wet, right? That's the regular, and then that's the 2 coats or less water. Okay, wet your brush, dab it on the paper towels, dip it in your paint, optional dab, paint. It's super duper straightforward, and that's exactly how much water you need to get a baseline, light and dark. Now let's do an actual little project. So this is going to be for book 4. I'm just getting started on this. And thank you to everyone who's been following along on Facebook and Instagram. It's really awesome to have so many name suggestions, which I'm totally using. So thank you for following along. All right, so I'm putting this into practice now. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you can see my paper towels are actually really here. I don't even use a palette. I don't mix any like I don't have a ceramic palette on the side. I'm mixing colors. Everything for all the books, everything is just taken right from the sets. So remember, step 1 is choose your set. So I do that for you in the books as well, so you know exactly what I'm using. Okay, so wetting my brush, I'm going to press it onto my paper towels, and I'm going to line up my swatches so I can see. So for this first color, I think I'm going to use pumpkin. So I'm going to go right into this one. And I want it to be a light color everywhere, so I'm going to not dab, and I'm going to go straight in because I want this to be kind of the all-around color for this guy, for his body. Okay. And I have a hair coming off of my brush. And see how it's nice and watery? It's because I didn't do an extra dab. Okay, if I need more, I'm going to repeat the same process. Brush, 1 dab. And it's really watery in there already because I had already stuck my juicy brush in there. Okay, and the book 4 is going to be, book 4 is Winnies and Woolies, so horses and sheep, and barnyard besties. So this cow is going to fit right in his new home. So excited. All right, see how light that is? I didn't do the bonus dab. And I'm just going to let that dry. Now for his face and his ears, I'm going to use the peach cobbler. So this is still dry. I haven't like activated it with any water yet. Okay, so I'm gonna pull my brush, make sure it's in the shot for you. Pull the brush out. I want this to be medium, so I'm gonna dab this on my paper towel. I'm gonna go get my peach cobbler. Okay, and it's pretty dry, so I'm for sure not going to dry that on my paper towels. Okay, that's a good medium, because it was dry to start with. There was no water in there yet at all. Okay, slightly different shade. Actually, I can just do these over with. All right, I'm gonna go back. So same process, get wet, shunk, dab, dip, and go. And if I need more, I'm gonna just swipe right into it because it's really juicy here already and I just needed a little bit more color. So I just went right in. But if you're hesitant or you're not sure, then you can just put some down. And if it's too much, you can add more water and kind of just start over every time with a new wet dip dab. Go. Let's see, I want the same color for his ears. So again, wash, dab, dip, and paint. And this will help you with all of the books. No matter which one, they're all done the same. Grab some more paint right from my juicy pan because it's still super juicy. Right, so everything has kind of that's first coat. Now I'm going to wash my brush, and on his horns, let's see, on his horns, I think I might make them this Earl Grey color, which is like, it's actually shiny. So I'm gonna put, again, I washed my brush, okay? I do it so fast I don't notice, that's why I'm breaking this down. Wash, slide, dab, and grabbing that silver. I know that silver, a lot of times the iridescent watercolors are hard to activate, so I'm doing extra time in here. And I'm going right to my paper. And both sides. And this one is a lot lighter than that one, so I'm gonna get more paint, and I'm just gonna go pull it right from my palette. All right, and then I wash my brush. Now everything is kind of wet everywhere, so I'm just gonna let this dry. I'm gonna actually dry it with my hair dryer, and then I'm gonna come back and I'll do another coat. All right, now I'm gonna use Apple, this one, to work on his face a little bit, and I'm gonna zoom in so you can see me, but I'm still gonna like talk through the steps as I do them, so there's no doubt about the doinking, dabbing, dipping process. And I'll move my paints in as close as possible. Okay, so I'm gonna use Apple, which is this dark one, and I'm gonna just focus on, again, his ears, this part, and then this part. He's all dry, I just dried him. All right, so wash my brush. There's a lot of color in my water. I'm gonna slide it to clean it, to get the excess water off. Now I haven't used this one before, but I do want a little bit darker, so I am gonna do a little dab off on my paper towels. And I'm gonna dip this in and get it activated. And let's see, I'm not gonna dab it. I'm gonna see, oh, that was a good choice. It's kind of nice and juicy. And I'm gonna kind of ring it around this part. here. Actually, we can kind of cover this whole thing. And I'm gonna keep the top open because there's always a highlight on a nose. Okay, so I'm gonna just do a nice juicy coat because I didn't dab at the end. I've just done it enough times to know when I need to dab and when I don't. For the most part, not every time. But in case you're like, how does she know? Just experience. Okay, I'm gonna go here and then bring it over here. Now I want to do the inside of the ears, and I know I want that to be pretty dark, so I'm going to actually just go right into my palette. And now I know that, remember, it's less water is darker. I just went out of the lines. It's harder to film. See how much darker that is? Because I didn't add any water to my brush at all. So that's why it's so incredibly dark. Now maybe I want it lighter. What do you do? Well, you can take your paper towels and you can lift. Okay, you can just lift it right off the page. Say that's not light enough. What you can do is, with a clean brush, I washed it off and I doinked it off of my paper towel. You can get this part wet again and then lift it. And see how much more that took off? Isn't that so crazy? And then with a wet brush, you can move the rest into place. All right, so you can just lift is how you erase. So I'm gonna do the right ear. So start over if you're unsure what the status is of your brush. Okay, bring it out of there. I'm gonna doink it once and then go in. And I'm like, oh, let's see, is it too dark? It's kind of dark. It's kind of medium juicy. And then if I want to have the highlight at the end again, I already know I just have to pull it off and that will lighten it up on the edges. Okay, and then you can add a little bit more water to like pull the rest to the tips if you want. And then if you don't, again, you can just dab it back. Awesome, awesome effect. Okay, now I'm gonna add that same color to the side of his face, but I don't want it like super dark. So I'm just gonna add just whatever was left over on my brush to kind of put it in the corners here and the corner over here. Okay, now I can do his little hairs sticking up, and for that I want those to be dark. So my brush is still damp because I've been putting in the water this whole time, and because I want a dark color, I'm putting it right into my palette on a dry pan there. So I know this is going to be good and dark, which is exactly what I want. Okay, so I can do his hair. Just that little dark bit. All right, cool. Now say I want the inside of his ears even darker, which I do. I can actually just take that dark and plunk it dark right into the very inside of his ears. It's still wet, so it'll just kind of mix in with what's there already. And if it was dry, it would lay it on top. So you could do it either way. Is totally fine. My dog is snoring. My wonky woofer is over here snoring. I do kind of want it darker in these edges. So while it's still really dark, I'm going to color it in. But like, oof, it's a really rough transition. It's so dark. So what do? Well, water so I just washed my brush so it's nice and clean. I dabbed it off on my paper towel. It's way too wet. So I keep dabbing it on my paper towel to get it drier and drier. And then you can use it to spread this out. Okay, spreading this. My dog snoring is so funny. Okay. Spread it out. And then dry when you have it right. But I still want it darker around this as we go down and down. It should get darker and darker. So I'm going to wash my brush, slide it off on the glass, doink it on my paper towels. I told you I was going to walk you through all my steps and talk you through all my steps. And now I'm just going to do the bottom here. All right, and if it's too, like if that line is too aggressive, then actually I'm going to come up the sides a little bit. Then I'm going to wash off my brush, tap it on my glass, run it on my paper towels so it's damp, and then I'm going to run it across this line. Okay, and that's how you blend it out. Now I still have this juicy color on my brush, so I'm going to add it to the bottom lip as well. Shoop. It's pretty fancy, isn't it? But look how awesome he's coming. All right, I'm going to wash my brush, doink it on my paper towel to pull these and blend. Too juicy, just do one more dab. You just have to do one dab here or there to adjust. And the wet or a damp brush is what helps you to blend these colors all together. Okay. Do I have a dark brown? I do. Okay, cool. So I'm just wash my brush, pull it, dab it here so you can see. And then this is the dark pecan. I think we can do a very small ring around his eyes. It's too wet still, so I'm going to keep drying that because I want a pretty strong color actually. And we're just going to circle that around his eyes. You know, if you've been watching my other videos that kind of go in this series, you'll know I use other tools outside of just watercolor for all of these creatures. That's where the mixed media artist in me really comes in strong, and it's awesome. So I have other videos that you can check out in the series that I will link below. All right, I need to address this bottom one. I want a nice darker color there too. So I want a strong pumpkin. So I'm going to dab that off on my paper towels and then go back for more concentrated color, less paint. Okay, because that's going to give us this lovely, stronger shade. So there's only so much that the watercolors are going to be able to give us. And then I turn my my mixed media hat on, which is why these are all on my mixed media channel and not on my drawing channel. And I'm going to bring in the pencils to finish this up. And I have a whole nother video on exactly that, again, that I will link for you. Right, so always on the bottom of our creatures. Oh, I forgot his tail. Are always dark, just as a rule. The underbellies are always going to be darker. So this nice concentrated color is lasting me quite a long time. And then, oh, these little brown bits in the back on his butt. And we can make his hooves that same dark color. Okay, awesome. All right, and that is how you use the exact amount of water. So I will time lapse him so you can see how he's going to finish up. And if you want to learn my moves on using the pencils, then you can revert to that extra video. So right now I'm going to dry him all and then switch mediums and finish him up with my Blackwing pencil. And perhaps one more coat of the pecan, but now you know exactly the amount of water to use.
Love like wildfire, I was your entire world until I stood alone in a storm. You took the sunshine, the flames are gone now, and I watched you walk straight out of that door. Promises got lost in the dust. Your boots by the door, you're not coming home. Love like wildfire, I was your entire world until I wasn't anymore. Oh, heartache, you left me behind. That's not a man, only a coward. Gone now, you're chasing the wind. No longer my man, you're just a
So for all my brush information, you can watch the video that's coming up on your screen now, and check the description box for the other links to the other videos that are in this series that go along with my books. And if you want to learn all about paper and which are the best to use for what kind of projects, subscribe now, because I'm going to be posting that next Wednesday on the same channel. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, pop them in the comments, and I will see you next Wednesday.